By 2026, Greg Gutfeld has crushed the competition, amassed a shocking $28 million fortune, and bought a secret fortress for his new family. But behind the jokes and the millions lies a dramatic story of getting fired, a secret baby, and a lifestyle that will blow your mind. Welcome to the world of the king. The golden throne and the massive payday. For years, people thought late-night TV belonged to the liberals. They thought you had to be Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Fallon to wear the crown. But Greg proved them all wrong. Back in April 2024, the big bosses at Fox News Media saw what was happening. They saw the ratings. They saw that Greg was the only host who was actually gaining viewers while everyone else was shrinking. So they did what any smart business would do. They opened the vault. They signed Greg to a massive multi-year contract extension that locked him in as the face of the network. Fast forward to 2026 and the numbers are out. Reports estimate his annual salary is now sitting between $7 million and $9 million. Let's break that down because those numbers are hard to imagine. That means Greg is making around $750,000 every single month. He is pulling in about $173,000 every week. He makes $24,000 a day. Imagine waking up, drinking your coffee, and knowing you just made 24 grand before you even put on your pants. That is the reality of his life, and he is closing in on the biggest names in the business. Sean Hannity is reportedly making $25 million, and Greg is climbing that ladder faster than anyone. His show, Gutfeld, has been averaging over 2.5 million viewers, completely destroying The Daily Show and beating Colbert and Fallon in the ratings war. This success is the fuel for everything else we are about to show you. It pays for the cars, the houses, and the luxury vacations. The $28 million fortune. When you stack up all those checks, you get a net worth that is truly staggering. As of 2026, experts peg Greg Gutfeld's net worth at $28 million. But here is the secret. He didn't just make this money from talking on TV. He is a writing machine. Greg has written 5 New York Times bestsellers. His book, The King of Late Night, was a smash hit, selling over 17,000 copies in just its first week on the shelves. Every time you see someone reading that book on a plane or a beach, that is money going straight into Greg's bank account. Then you have the tours. Greg isn't lazy. He goes out to see the people. His Gutfeld Live 26 inches tour is packing arenas from Huntsville, Alabama to Salt Lake City. We are talking about thousands of tickets sold at every stop. This is a business empire built on one man's personality. So, where does a guy with $28 million sleep at night? The $10 million Soho Fortress. In July 2024, Greg made the biggest purchase of his life. He dropped $10.5 million on a new home. But he didn't move to the suburbs to mow lawns. He doubled down on New York City. He bought a massive loft in the trendy Soho neighborhood. This isn't just an apartment. It is a palace. The building itself is historic, dating back to the 1900s with a classic cast-iron facade that looks like something out of a movie. Let's go inside. The space is enormous, covering 3,560 square feet. In Manhattan, where people live in shoeboxes, this is like owning a castle. It was renovated by the famous architects at DXA Studio, who turned it into a masterpiece of modern luxury. The living room has huge, oversized windows that let the city light pour in. The ceilings are high, giving it that airy, open feeling. But the real showstopper is the kitchen. It features a waterfall island, where the marble counter drops down the sides like a waterfall, and it is packed with high-end appliances that would make a professional chef jealous. The master bathroom is built for relaxation. It has a freestanding tub where Greg can soak after a long night of fighting with liberals. But why did he buy such a big place? It has 3 bedrooms. For years, it was just Greg and his wife. Why did they need 3 bedrooms? The listing photos revealed a secret. One of the rooms was already set up as a child's bedroom. Greg knew something the rest of the world didn't. He was building a nest. The real estate tycoon. Now here is where you see how smart Greg is with his money. Most people sell their old house to pay for the new one. Greg didn't. He kept his old loft. He bought his previous apartment, which is just a stone's throw away, back in 2015 for about $5 million. It is another stunner with 2,200 square feet, 13-foot ceilings, and a rare private terrace. Instead of selling it, he turned it into a cash cow. He listed it for rent. But he isn't renting it to regular folks. He is asking for $24,000 a month. If you want to use his furniture, the price goes up to $25,000 a month. Do the math. That is $300,000 a year in extra income. That covers the property taxes on his new mansion and then some. He effectively owns two of the most valuable properties in New York City, putting his real estate portfolio alone at over $15 million. But wait, there is more. Even the king of late night needs a break from the city noise. When the weekends come, Greg and his family head north. In 2018, they bought a beautiful lake house in South Salem, New York. It is a contemporary home made of wood and glass that sits right in the middle of nature. It is quiet. It is peaceful. It is the perfect place to hide from the paparazzi and just be a dad. He posts pictures from there sometimes, usually of the trees or his dog, Gus. It is his sanctuary. The secret baby. For 20 years, Greg was the cool uncle. He joked about kids. He seemed perfectly happy with his life of luxury and freedom. But in late 2024, he pulled off the biggest surprise of his career. Suddenly, Greg vanished from TV. He wasn't on The Five. He wasn't on Gutfeld. He was gone for weeks. Fans were worried. Was he sick? Was he fired? Rumors were flying everywhere. He was actually on paternity leave. For 46 days, Greg Gutfeld traded his suit and tie for diapers and burp cloths. On January 6, 2025, he returned to the air and dropped the bomb. He announced that he and his wife had welcomed a baby girl named Mira. He told the audience, "It is with great joy that my wife Elena and I have welcomed a baby girl into the world." He then cracked a classic Gutfeld joke. He said baby Mira has his wife's beautiful eyes and his rock-hard abs. He also joked about the physical toll of fatherhood, saying, "I have the chewed-up nipples to prove it." He admitted that his wife Elena was the real hero. He told his co-hosts, "I give emotional support, but you know, Elena is kind of pretty hands-on and keeps me away from it. She said to me that I'm terrible at everything." He described himself wandering around the 500-square-foot apartment at 2 a.m. asking, "Is everything okay?" while Elena did the hard work. This baby has changed him. He even joked about Mayor Pete Buttigieg, saying, "Eat your heart out, Mayor Pete," regarding his paternity leave. But deep down, you can see the soft spot. He said the lesson he learned was how much he had to unlearn about being selfish. For a guy who built a career on being the center of attention, that is a huge shift. The Mystery Queen. We have mentioned her a few times, but who is the woman who tamed Greg Gutfeld? Her name is Elena Musa, and she is a powerhouse. Elena was born in Russia and grew up with a glamorous international lifestyle. She is a former runway model and a photo editor. She has an eye for style that is unmatched. She attended the famous Parsons School of Design in New York City and even started her own fashion project called the Musa Project. She currently works as a stylist and shares her incredible high fashion work on social media. The story of how they met is like a romance movie. It was 2004. Greg was living in London working as the editor of Maxim UK. There was a big conference in Portugal for all the Maxim editors from around the world. Greg walked into the room, saw Elena, and turned to his friend. He said, "That is my wife." He spent the next 3 days in Portugal trying to get her to talk to him. Whatever he said, it worked. They got married just 5 months later. They have been together for over 20 years. In the celebrity world, that is a lifetime. She keeps him grounded. She dresses him. She runs the house. And now, she is raising their daughter, Mira. The bumpy road. Greg's life wasn't always mansions and millions. In fact, he failed his way to the top. This is the part of the story that makes his success so sweet. Before Fox News, Greg worked in magazines, and he got fired. A lot. He was the editor of Men's Health. He got fired for posting a joke on the website about Girl Scouts. Then he was the editor of Stuff magazine. He got fired from there after a crazy stunt involving hiring midgets at a publishers conference. Then he went to London to run Maxim UK. When his contract wasn't renewed in 2006, he was out of a job again. He was an outsider. He didn't fit in. The polite society of media didn't want him. But that outsider attitude is exactly what made him a star. When he landed at Fox News on the show Red Eye at 3 a.m., he didn't care about the rules anymore. He just wanted to be funny. And America fell in love with him. Now, the guy who got fired for a Girl Scout joke is the king of late night. The garage. You can't have a lifestyle story without talking about cars. Greg brands himself as a car guy, but his taste is unique. First, let's talk about the weirdest car in his collection. He owns a 1953 Nash Metropolitan. Have you ever seen one? It looks like a bathtub on wheels. It is tiny, two-toned, and looks like a cartoon car. Greg called it an absurd automobile, but he loves it. But he also loves real power. He hates electric cars. He has gone on rants about them, saying that trying to buy an EV is as hard as buying a dragon. He prefers the roar of a gas engine. He has spoken about testing Porsches on the track. He drove a 911 Carrera and loved the luxury and the speed. He also talks a lot about muscle cars. He plays racing games like Grid, where he smashes muscle cars into walls. He appreciates the American power of a Ford Mustang or a Chevy, often debating the merits of American muscle versus European luxury. However, the reality of living in Soho in 2026 is traffic. He admitted on a podcast that he went to fill up his car, and it cost $64, so he does drive. But for his daily commute to the Fox News studios, he is likely riding in the back of a blacked-out SUV, writing his monologue while a driver deals with the New York gridlock. The luxury vacations. When the stress gets too high, where does the king go? He heads to the Caribbean. But he doesn't stay at the Holiday Inn. His favorite spot is the ultra-exclusive island of St. Bart's. This is where billionaires and movie stars go to hide. Specifically, he loves a place called Hotel Lituani. Why? Because of the room service. Greg raved about an amenity there, a cheese bowl. But not just any cheese bowl. It is a 77-pound wheel of Parmesan cheese carved into a bowl, used to serve spaghetti and black truffles. That is the level of luxury we are talking about, eating truffle pasta out of a giant cheese wheel on a private island. He also loves Anguilla for its beaches, and Guadeloupe for the waterfalls. These trips are essential. It is the only time he turns off his phone and stops reading the news. The heavy metal connection. Here is something you probably didn't know. Greg Gutfeld is a metalhead. Most 60-year-old news anchors listen to classical music or classic rock. Greg listens to thrash metal. He formed an unlikely friendship with Riley Gale, the lead singer of the band Power Trip. It started when Greg played a Power Trip song on the Five. The band sent him a cease and desist order. They didn't want their music on Fox News. But Greg didn't get mad. He called Riley up. They talked on the phone for 2.5 hours. They realized they actually liked each other. They became close friends. Riley even helped Greg unpack books at a book signing event. When Riley sadly passed away, Greg wore a Power Trip t-shirt on air and gave a beautiful tribute to his friend. He also invites the band Guy Buar, those guys dressed as alien monsters, onto his show. It proves that Greg is loyal to the people he likes, no matter how weird or different they are. The drama of 2025. The road to 2026 wasn't smooth. The year 2025 was full of chaos, and Greg was right in the middle of it. The biggest shock was the assassination attempt on Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, the young conservative leader, was shot at Utah Valley University. It was a terrifying moment. Greg went on air and gave a passionate, angry monologue. He talked about how Charlie was a father and a husband. He said, "You woke us the F up." He was furious. It showed a side of Greg that wasn't joking. He was defending his tribe. Then there were the fights on the Five. Greg sits next to Jessica Tarlov, the liberal voice. Usually they get along. But in late 2025, the tension boiled over. They were arguing about political violence. Greg slammed the table. He yelled, "That is dead," regarding her argument. It went viral instantly. People thought the show might break up, but like a dysfunctional family, they came back the next day. Greg isn't slowing down. In fact, 2026 is his busiest year yet. He has announced the massive Gutfeld Live 26 Inches tour. He is taking the show on the road with his comedian friend Tom Shiluo. He is selling tickets like a rock star. This tour is going to add millions more to that $28 million fortune. The daily grind. You might wonder how a 60-year-old dad keeps up this pace. Greg is obsessed with his health. He works out every day. He swears by a 15-minute ab workout that includes moves like the bird dog to keep his core strong. He calls them his rock-hard abs for a reason. He is also watching what he eats. In 2025, when everyone was taking Ozempic for weight loss, Greg joked about it constantly, talking about Ozempic finger. He is terrified of gaining weight because the camera adds 10 pounds. He stays fit so he can keep up with baby Mira and keep his energy high for the cameras. The inner circle. Greg doesn't trust many people, but the ones he trusts, he loves. His best friend on the show is Dana Perino. She is the former White House press secretary. She is calm, and he is crazy. It works. She was the one who read his baby announcement on air. Then there is Tyrus, the giant wrestler with the championship belt. They are the oddest couple on TV, the short, snarky writer and the massive, tattooed wrestler. But Tyrus is his bodyguard and his brother. And Kat Timpf, the libertarian comedian. Greg discovered her. He made her a star. They travel together, they tour together, and they have each other's backs. So, what does the lifestyle of Greg Gutfeld look like in 2026? It is a $10 million fortress in Soho with a waterfall island in the kitchen. It is a quiet lake house in the woods. It is a $28 million bank account that grows every time he opens his mouth. It is a beautiful Russian wife and a baby girl named Mira, who has wrapped him around her little finger. He is the guy who was fired from magazines for being too edgy. He is the guy who befriended metalheads and wrestlers. He is the guy who took on the giants of late-night TV and won. Greg Gutfeld has built an empire on his own terms. He didn't change for Hollywood. He made Hollywood change for him. And as he steps onto the stage for his 2026 tour, one thing is clear. The king isn't going anywhere. Long live the king.